What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk today about following God's path for your life, following God's path for your life, trusting that voice, listening to that intuition, flowing with that rhythm is everything. Um, Following God's path for your life, following that, following the Spirit, being in tune to that voice is life changing, and it really is everything. I've said it before, but I cannot emphasize it enough how important it is to really understand and take heed to that. Um, Before I awakened consciously, meaning that I was living under like the world system. And when I say the world system, I lived with so much of anxiety, the hustle and bustle of life. There's nothing wrong with the hustle and bustle. It's just that I carried so much anxiety, trauma, uncertainty, insecurity. um, I did not listen to the voice of God. I did not listen to that tugging at my heart. I did not listen to that because my trust is in the world. My trust was in my fears. My trust was in my own abilities. My trust was in leaning into my own understanding. And so, because I chose to lean into my own understanding, there was um, a lot of unnecessary suffering that I thought life had to be a certain way. When it came to life, my beliefs system, my belief patterns was that life is hard, and that life is always a struggle, to be afraid. I was so afraid to love. I was afraid to uh, acquire money. I was afraid to be a mom. I was afraid of living. I was afraid of dying. There was just so much fear that I had consumed on the inside of me. Excuse me if you guys hear a little bit of noise in the background. Um, so I'm just going to keep moving. So there was just so much fear that I had on the inside of me. And my defining moment, or where I pivot, was when my life was broken. And I found myself just in a broken place, feeling shattered. Every area of my life was just the epitome of like hell on earth. And or just like losing out on sleep and trying to make things happen and trying to make things work. I can remember just trying so hard at working and building wealth, and working so hard at being trying to be like just the best wife, and working so hard at my health, and all of these things. I just kept running into this brick wall. I just kept running into this brick wall, and in running into this brick wall over and over again, because I was like caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, because I heard the voice of God, but I thought I put my trust in my fears. I put my trust in, well, I figure I'm going to figure this out. I put my trust in my own understanding at that time. And I did not trust the voice of God. And I always had the tapping at my heart. And so when I finally stopped and realized that in leaning into my own understanding, that I was creating my own mass destruction. I'm going to say that again. And me leaning into my own understanding, I found out that I was creating my own mass destruction. One more time. And leaning into my own understanding, I found out that I was creating, Cami, me. I was creating my own mass destruction within myself. And I found myself in a fetal position, crying out to God, saying, God, show me who I am. And on that journey, I began unlearning, unpacking a lot of things within myself. One of the things that I really want to talk about, that God was showing me, that I want to share with you, is that transformation, and when God begins healing and transforming your life, what makes it hard is our resistance. What makes it hard is our need to lean into our own understanding. What makes it hard is our impatience. What makes it hard is our fears. I can attest to that. But I got tired of leaning into that instead of leaning into the Spirit of God. I got tired of leaning into that instead of vibrating on my own intuition. I got tired of holding on to all that internal baggage and saying, I got it. I'm about to figure this out. God, you taking too long. You know what? I'm about to do this on my own, figure it out, and make things happen. And I got tired of that. And so I finally, on the journey, released and let go and let God and trusted the voice of God. Number one, for me, God spoke to me intimately and told me about my life and what would happen in my life and how things were going to reconcile and nourish and heal and come together. I also recognized and heard the Spirit of God say, now I need you to let go. And so in the area of letting go, I was like, wait a minute, God, what do you mean let go? I'm used to hustling. I'm used to making things happen. I'm used to making things work. I'm used to doing this. So there was a part of me that was still trying to hold on to what I thought was best. And I recently just came to the realization that I no longer carry that weight. I remember our daughter was saying, like, Mom, do you care about anything? And I was like, I absolutely care about things. I absolutely care about things. I just put it in the hands of God. Now, that does not negate activating your faith. That does not negate putting in the work. That is not negate that. Absolutely not. But there's a level of peace and there's a level of vibration. There's a level of serenity. There's a level of submission that I have given to God, saying, God, whatever the outcome is, I trust you. I know what you spoke to me. I know what you said. But I know I can't pick that back up again, because when I tried to pick that back up again, what I recognized was that I was creating my own destruction, my own heart attack, my own heartache. I was picking up excess pounds. I wasn't sleeping at night because I was trying to fix it on my own. I was trying to lean into my own understanding instead of trusting myself, trusting the Spirit of God that lives within me, instead of trusting my intuition. I was leaning into my fears. I was leaning into what I thought I knew. I was leaning into all of my accolades. I was leaning into that. And submitting yourself unto God. It's like when they talk about in marriage, when they said husbands and wives, submit yourself one to another as unto the Lord. Like, that is everything, y'all. Like, me submitting myself unto God was everything. And when you submit yourself to God, there's a level of surrender. And when you surrender, the posture of your heart shifts and it changes. And the way that you view the world is different. The way that you see the world is different. You are not affected so much by the weight of the world. You're not affected so much about the tangibles. You're not affected so much about the forms and how it's going to happen and why it's going to happen. But you become very, very, this is my personal story, I've become very, very in tune to the Spirit of God. I've become very, very in tune to my gifts. I've become very, very in tune. I'm an empath as well, and very, very intuitive. And the more that I stay connected to God, the more of my gifts are heightened. And the more, the healthier I am, the more my heart opens, and the more I feel at ease. And there's a level of being intentional about that. You have to be intentional about how you're showing up for yourself and how you're showing up in your relationship and your aspect to God, and how God wants your heart, the matters of your heart. And in that there's a level of surrender, in that there's a level of healing, in that there's an aspect of trust, in that there's a level of reconciliation, in that there's a level of, what they say, trust fall. I've heard of this little kid, our daughter's friend. I remember he would say trust fall. And so when you think of trust fall, I don't know if you have children or if you've been around children. I'm sure you have, but of course you have, or maybe you're not. But anyway, when you have trust fall, trust fall is complete trust in who is going to catch you. And you have that complete trust. So therefore, when you have that complete trust, you literally respond according to your trust. So how are you responding? How is the posture of your heart? How are you acting in the area of trust? Because it doesn't have to be hard. Your yoke can be easy and your burden is light. And what makes it hard is that we try to carry it. You are not wired to carry it. You're not wired to carry it. Our bodies, our minds, our hearts, and our souls are not wired to carry. Give it to God. Let go and let God. All right, if you guys like more videos like this, go ahead and hit the button like and subscribe. And I definitely will be back on for more. So that's all. Bye.